We have another bunch of posts on r/AI about some artwork that look suspicious. So let's delve into this whole situation. This first post in r/ is this AI OP writes, found some D&D races, but I'm a little worried the art may be AI generated. Some of the art feels particularly AI. They add, the catfolk in particular look wrong to me since the hand looks like it disappears. The art style also feels like it changes a decent bit between photos as well. So here we have the first photo, and forgive me if I name the creatures or the species wrong, I don't play D&D, but they kind of look like they have elf ears with wings. Here we have the second one. She kind of is giving like angel. Now this, for me, is already a bit odd because there's some pretty odd behaviors happening with the hair. There's wings sprouting out of the head, and that itself is not odd. That could be like a design choice, right? But we have hair that kind of flows down here and curls around her neck, so she kind of looks like she has like a flowy pigtail of sorts. And then there's this massive blob of hair here. But the hair is also going up, so there's just no kind of like logical flow with the hair. And I'm not saying your hair needs to have like flow, but if you think about it from a human's perspective, why would a human draw it this way? Like a big blob of hair behind the head and one curling by the ear and another blob by the shoulder. That partition for the hair looks a bit odd. Now we have next one. This one kind of looks like a green druid character. And again, there's just some oddities happening. Now, maybe this is like a character species anatomy thing, but the two legs are kind of fused into one leg. We have like a leg and a leg, and then there's just nothing in the middle. There's no knees, nothing. They just fuse together. And the fusion between the skirt and the legs are very odd. Same thing with the person, this character sitting on the stump. Like the clothing detail, there's some sort of drapery on the clothing that just actually melts into the stump they're sitting on. That's giving generative AI. Now we have this character, they're looking very like mermaid, very siren. Again with the hair oddities, right? Because again, I can understand having kind of like geometric looking hair as part of the art style, but it's doing the looping back into itself again, looping back into itself again. That's really reminiscent of generative AI. Alongside the details that don't make sense, neck detailing, kind of following the seam of the cutout of the top that just doesn't appear on the other side, alongside the jewelry detailing down here on the stomach, that's all completely warped. It looks all melted. The cat. What is happening with the tail? And why is it melting into the skirt and thigh? Here we have another woman. She's kind of giving, like, at least from League of Legends, like a spider of some sort. What's happening with the legs? She has like one leg crossed over the other, but the anatomy is so odd. It looks like this human leg is like half the size of this other human leg that's supposed to cross over it. And then we have gorgons and slimes, and the slime's finger is all chopped up. And I know they're a slime, but like, come on, what's happening with the two fingers here? They're all molded together. And the gorgon snakes aren't even attached to their head. Like, this is a free-floating snake over here. From my knowledge, they're all supposed to come from the head, right? And the commenters feel really suspicious. A commenter says, yup, it looks like AI. Zooming in on the jewelry and small details, it seems AI. Another person says, AI specifically Niji Journey outputs. Hair strands on the sixth pic is messed up. Also, she has two ears on one side of her head. And somebody grabs a screenshot of the tail on the cat character writing, tail spawns from the skirt material. Definitely AI. So the general consensus of this one is AI generated. Next post, another person writes, another AI artist? Shaking my head, check the person's account. Their background is literally another copy and post of this. So there's only one post, and it's this art piece. And if we take a look at here, looking at the details, a lot of things when it comes to like, is this AI, is this not? It's like, would a human draw this? One. Two, is the text correct? Is the writing correct? Are the fine details correct? Things like that, you know? So people were mentioning the spelling of Saint Martin here, and some people in the comments were like, the spelling is a bit off. Other people mentioned that this is another way to spell Saint Martin. So that looks actually correct. All the writing looks correct, actually, right? Like Red Rock Amphitheater, there's no Portland Thorns FC, our special day. Nothing is bleeding together. All the numbers are right. Yeah, every single letter actually looks correct so far. Here we have drawers with properly stacking amounts of drawers. That also looks correct. There's like some divots. These are a little bit odd, these little divots in the knees, but maybe that's like an artistic choice. There's like a little line on the shoulder here, a little divot on the knee of this pants. That definitely could be artistic choice. There's some kids drawn here. There's like a football team, a soccer team featured here. Everything looks like it makes sense, you know? The geometric design on the rug makes a lot of sense. Nothing is bleeding into things that should not be bleeding into. At first I saw this line and I was like, oh, maybe it's like a brushstroke. It actually looks like also this artist does a thing where they have like an overlay layer where they draw like a bunch of diagonal lines. You can see it here. There's like some really faint one up here, etc. It looks like it's just part of their art style. So I mean, this all looks legit. Everything makes sense. Nothing looks kind of odd to me. I feel like it looks cute. So the top comment says, St. Martin, Dutch pronunciation, is a constituent country of the Kingdom of Netherlands located in the Caribbean region of North America. No typos there. Another person said, I went to the artist's Instagram page and it's all the same style, mostly featuring couples, and the images go back to at least 2023. I just don't think AI was that good 3 years ago. Whether or not AI was used at any part of the process for this one, I couldn't say, but the artist seems to be a real digital artist that does at least know how to make a piece like this. But other people highlighted aspects of this artist's artwork where you can see they have 2 posts just like this with the exact same tree, just different characters. So basically a your character here, right? And they basically said, yeah, you know, like this looks human made. AI would make a slightly different looking tree. This is literally the exact same tree, which is just an artist being efficient. And another comment says, I personally don't think this is AI, or at least 100% AI, but I won't say with any authority. I think it's so funny when people in this thread think are tells. The artist specifically says they filled it with their favorite memories, inside jokes, and a lot of details that tell their stories. So people were calling out, you know, there's some May 18th versus May 21st dates appearing, and they add, but right next to the May 21st, it says the day I called first. So maybe it's the first day they met and the second is the day one of them called. Somebody called out number 73 recurring as if that was a tell, which seems like the number is just significant to them in some way, which like I personally agree. I think that's even less of a tell that it's AI, to be honest, if it's like consistent repetition, because it must mean that number is significant. And people were highlighting that there's spelling errors, etc., but that, you know, people misspell things. Apparently it's supposed to be Red Rocks Amphitheater instead of Red Rock. Easy to accidentally muck up. Other people are pointing out like the 888 is like weird as a number to have. I mean, how is that weird? This is a couple that's been together for a heck a long time, you know? Our special day, May 18th, 2003 makes a lot of sense. They got married, I don't know, August 8th, 2008, and that they've been together now for almost 20 years. That makes a lot of sense. Also, on a complete side note, but the number 8 is really significant in Chinese culture. It's considered a really lucky number. So if they're not Chinese, right, which I don't know, a lot of Chinese people will pick repetitions of 8 to try to put a special date on if they can, try to like put their anniversary or wedding date on a day with a lot of 8s because it's considered lucky. But a lot of other people just want a cool anniversary date. So if you choose your wedding day and it's 2008, well, wow, why don't we put it on August 8th? So it's 888. That's our number. How cute. Hard to tell without fully knowing a process, but like looking at all of this, nothing in here makes me suspect that this artwork is AI generated. Reddit though came to a very mixed consensus. So this one is really interesting. OP writes, there is this artist who claims to create hyper-realistic art portraits, but the end result always gives me off AI vibes. But he has a video about the process. So let us take a look at the video. So here we have them drawing kind of some like base sketch pencil layer, and then they pencil it in with some realistic techniques. So here is one of the drawings. We kind of get them like focusing in a little bit and then it snaps up. So yeah, that is the video. Now let's play it back a little bit slower. Like this is just odd. Maybe this is due to the way the speed paint is recorded as a time lapse, because time lapses sometimes maybe isn't recording like everything. But there's what looks to be color appearing in places that the pencil's not. I'm just a little bit confused because we kind of just see this person using the tip of their pencil to like color. Like they kind of just like move their pencil over and then boom. There's already coloring on the cheeks here. A little bit of like movement and there's already like full rendering here. And what I'm a little bit confused about is like, I haven't done it in a really long time, but when I first started out doing art, I actually did like realistic pencil drawing specifically. That was like my special interest, I suppose. And there's like a lot of techniques you can use to try to blend the lead out to get a more realistic look. Everybody has different techniques. Obviously my 13-year-old self wasn't doing it the most accurate way possible. This person's using the exact same pencil the entire time. You don't see them changing like different types of lead because some are softer than others. You get a little different result. There's also no glare on the lead, which I think is a bit interesting. It looks really matte. A lot of times pencil drawings, you end up with a little bit of shine to it because the lead is really shiny, which I'm not seeing here. Not saying again it's impossible, but you see that? Like the pencil is here. I skip forward a frame. Boom. Now the cheek is shaded, even though the pencil is still here. Like maybe because it's a time lapse, they went up, colored it, and then moved their pencil back. And then that was the next time their phone took a snapshot. So it just looks like they didn't color it in. Because if your iPhone, it kind of like takes pictures like at specific intervals and then speeds it up. It doesn't actually look like their pencil is making contact with the actual drawing itself, like the paper. It kind of looks like their pencil is hovering around the art piece. You see what I mean? The pencil moved over and then bam, there was just like some shading that appeared. Like I don't see them actually with their pencil, you know what I mean? Also, this one's interesting because they go in with this drawing, no sketch, no reference, nothing, straight into inking onto the paper, which is the equivalent of drawing digital line art with no sketch beneath it. Not impossible, but you don't see it that often because a lot of times one eye ends up being, you know, a little wonky. Again, like the pen is here on the left eye. For one frame, he moves the pen up to the top left. Then the immediate next frame, both eyes have dot marks to mark where the shape of the eye is going to be. But we didn't see the pen go to the right eye. We only saw the pen on the left side of the face. So yeah, maybe it's like a really poorly recorded time lapse. But look here, right? Shading the face, neck is not shaded. Boom, next frame, the neck is immediately shaded. Shading is appearing where the hand's not. Like right here, right? The hand is away from the art piece. The hand is literally not even visible. Boom, part of the mouth is also shaded. Like it just feels odd. Okay, so now they actually use an eraser finally. A lot of times when people do pencil drawings, to make the white look white, they'll like erase it to make it look as clean as possible. Wait, but they picked up, where'd the eraser go? They held the eraser for 1 second and didn't do anything with it. Again, maybe the time lapse is so fast, it just skipped that too. But then we have this piece. Here we have one drawing already, and then we have another one. And then we have all these colored pencils. So this main one is supposed to be a colored pencil drawing. So here we have a middle frame where they're coloring. Some more coloring, fully coloring the crown. On a complete side note, I feel like this one is very interesting how every other drawing, they recorded top down, but this one, they recorded it from the side where their body is blocking a lot of the image. But yeah, they're doing a lot of coloring. Okay, then they colored in only one chunk of the eye. Maybe some people work sequentially, like some oil painters will paint like this, you know? But what are they doing? They have a blue color pencil. And you can see for like a frame, they're moving their pen, or their pencil, sorry, but they're not putting any color on the canvas. There's nothing. And then bam, now more of the forehead is rendered. They're still using the blue, by the way, even though they're rendering the skin, which is peach toned and not blue. Bro's not drawing the avatar. More coloring. We're still using the blue. Okay, now we've swapped colors. Now we swapped to the red. Okay, maybe, was there blue on the side of the head? Like maybe that's why he was using so much blue? Okay, my bad, I guess. There's like blue on the side of the head, but he was still coloring the blue in like above the eyebrow. All right, new day. Still using the blue pencil. Where was the blue being used? So here we have the still frame here, and people mentioned that they felt like this looked odd because it looked like the beard was cut off awkwardly. I want to take a peek at the background real quick, because what is this? We have like a drawing of like a prehistoric human skull in the closed and the open position. This is not like a modern human skull by any means. The jaw is incorrect. Maybe it's an animal? Like, this is just what I find odd, because in all the frames you see them like coloring. I don't see any color appearing on the paper. But maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe there's some color being applied here. See, look again. There's more coloring happening and I don't see any color on the paper. But maybe the canvas is just really overexposed. I don't know. And then we get a close-up of them signing the name. But what I think is interesting is that the only close-up we really see is them signing their name, but not of any other part of the coloring process. This is also interesting because look at where they signed their name, right? This background doesn't look like it was made with colored pencil. This looks like it was painted. But anyways, this is the final piece here. This is not looking like colored pencil. How does it look like a photograph? Like, it looks photorealistic. So photorealistic that you don't see any colored pencil markings, pencil strokes, whatever. Like, from my knowledge, colored pencil just doesn't get this result. It just doesn't. You will see some sort of brush stroke, some sort of like marking, etc. Like, for an example of like a hyper-realistic drawing, right? We have this one. This was posted at r/drawing by user Laura Draw, my latest colored pencil drawing. This looks so freaking good. It's hyper realism. It is also a portrait. But you know what I mean? If you look closely, you can see some of the cross hatching, the markings right here, some of the markings from it being a color pencils that are being used. You can still tell for a little bit what medium was being used. Like this, you don't see any of that. So what does Reddit have to say? The top comment says, as a colored pencil artist, I can say for a fact that the end result is not possible. If you want to see what is possible, check out artists like Heather Rooney and Jessie Lane. They can achieve very high levels of photorealism, but this specific look with this level of detail is not possible. If this drawing was several times as big, then maybe, but at this size, it's a big fat nope. He's absolutely faking it. The pencil drawings seem real and filmed from a top-down perspective, so you can clearly see what he's doing. But for whatever reason, the finished drawing that you'd think he wants to document more than the sketches is filmed from some obtuse angle with his body posture strategically hiding what he's doing. If I had to guess, he printed the AI image, cut in pieces, and glued them onto the paper while editing the video around that. And somebody said, I think you're right about the glue, because I'm pretty sure at 15 seconds, that is a glob of glue sticking out by his crown. And here we can see, is that what they mean? Like right here, that little bloblet? Possibly. Another person said, at the 12-second and 14-second mark, you can see him using a colored pencil back and forth, but nothing is on paper, just making the motion, which yeah, That's the thing that's weird. Like maybe the video was way too overexposed to see, but we see him going back and forth and we see nothing appear on the paper. Another person said he obscures the entire process with the second camera angle. I'm calling it a scam. And another person said it's green screened and AI content. They combine techniques together to evade detection. It's weird to go through all that trouble and still deliver with the most mediocre AI prompted art they could possibly get. And OP adds a photo where we can see it's this part, where we can see the beard, right? And they said the way the beard was randomly cut off here was weird to me. Like, this is how you color, but I'm not an artist, so I can't say for sure. That to me is also odd because like the beard has strands of hair, right? So why is it cut so abruptly? Like cut like this, you know? You wouldn't have like a couple of brush strokes kind of like poking down that you would then blend in later. I mean, it kind of makes sense if there was like a sharp cut for the crown, but the hair is a lot more softer. A lot more like there's going to be some strands that are longer than others. So having such sharp cuts is odd. And another person adds, the line under the signature doubles in size and probably the signature too, but less significantly between the zoom out and the reveal. Another person says, yeah, the line under the signature is closer to the edge after the reveal. And wow, internet detectives, look at this. The signature and then the signature. And look how close the line is to the edge versus here there's a lot more space. Interesting. So what are your thoughts? Reddit has concluded, seemingly, that this is AI generated. I most definitely am quite suspicious about the speed paints and stuff. Too many things are just not adding up for me to feel like it's completely legit. With like stuff appearing in the speed paints, etc. And these ones too. The flow of it is just odd to me. Because like, again, it looks like things are appearing and being rendered without the pencil actually being there. And this to me looks more in line with what AI speed paints kind of look like. Like, how is the pencil only on this side and the ear got shaded in as well? How does that happen? Your hand never went there. So yeah, I think all of this is AI actually. Like, AI doctored in some way. So don't send hate to any parties involved, but what was your score? Did you get the 2 out of 3? Because there was one that doesn't seem to be AI generated. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear your results down below in the comment section. If you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. I also have a coffee with free resources like a free sponsorship guide. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7:30. No, Thursdays at 7:30 PST. Man, I'm gonna miss my colored hair. Now that I dyed it this like dark color, I really can't go light anymore. I thought I was gonna hate myself with my natural hair color. Well, this is purple, not really natural, but with dark hair because I haven't seen myself with dark hair in so long, but I kind of like it. It was from a crash out from missing 2 flights. So anyways, thank you for watching this video and I hope to catch y'all in another one. Peace.